Lisa Tiny Gray, thank you again for joining me. The one broad question I wanted you to address is that part of the argument that I'm making about the myth of Black buying power is that it encourages people to accept that poor people are the reason that are to be blamed for being poor. That poor people are only poor because they are financially illiterate or don't work hard enough. And I know that the work that you do has a very different understanding of poverty in this country and the myth understandings. So please, if you would address it yourself to any of that as you see fit.
Beautiful. Well, I always start because as a poverty scholar who lived through houselessness for most of my life, I always start with some kind of verse. I am that poverty scholar, that houseless mama, that houseless daughter. All those people you don't want to see, never want to be, look away from me. What you going to do, arrest me? We're in your city. So yeah, and calling upon all the mamas out there trying to hold it together while being criminalized for the sole act of being poor, of not having access to a roof, and of not really making enough quote unquote wages to even pay for that roof. So I want to just, my new word, thank you for repeating it, is misunderstanding, because yeah, they're myths about poor folks. And I love your book and I love what you're doing. And so I'm so honored to be here and lift this work up because our lives and our bodies as poor folk, of all melanin count, are literally blamed all the time for what I call the C word, choices. You made bad choices, and this is a big one, right? Because it happens in a lot of our indigenous communities. I'm the melanin challenged daughter of an Afro-Boricua mama who that's how she operated. That's what she was in the world. And she was called all the time lazy, and that she didn't work and maybe she should just get a job, right? Well, these were all misunderstandings, as they are all the time about poor folks, that we are working, that we made bad choices, that we had too many babies, that we caused this poverty, right? And what's really so terrifyingly ironic about that is meanwhile you got Bezos and Elon Musk and those types, right, as we see right now in Corona, literally cashing in all the time on exploiting humanity, right? Just period. Not even just poor people, but everybody. But the reality is then you've got the whole industry built on exploiting and making money off of poor people's lives. No, not sharing it with us, not actually redistributing, or what I call radical redistribution, not operating in a concept of reparations that all African and indigenous people should have, but actually perpetrating more of those misunderstandings and blaming us for our position. So I love that you're bringing this up, and I could talk on this all day, but that might be as much as you want to hear from me right now.
Well, I don't want to put it that way. I want to hear as much, I always want to hear a whole lot. We just a little constricted for time and trying to bring in a bunch of people, but I just wanted to raise up your voice and your work because I appreciate it so much, what you do with Poor Magazine. I've learned a lot and keep learning a lot, and just wanted you to be involved at least a little bit. So I appreciate this very much.
Definitely. I'm excited to be here. And I do want to say also, just lastly, that lifting up the work of just what you do, which is a truth teller, and that's how I look at real truth media, as truth telling, right? You just happen to use channels to get it out as far and wide as it can. We know how much is built on these myths of buying power in general, and how much and how many lies that are necessary so that you keep lying to people and they never question that there might be another way to actually function, thrive, and live. And so that's why this book is so beautiful. I'm just so honored to speak on it in any way we can help.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.